Oh, good, we're rolling. Okay. This is something that's been bugging me for a long time. I'm gonna give you guys a lesson in galactic history. Why did those of Nibiru come here? Why did the Palladians that founded Atlantis come here? Well, lo and behold, they were all fleeing the same thing, which was the corrupt maternal run society that was known as the Palladians. Um, Harshly treatment of men. Men were second-class citizens. But as every every season has its time, like where there's spring, there's fall, and when polarities switch, as they always do in whatever star system or planet you're on, whether it be 10,000 years, 5 years, whatever system your star system works on, which would be different than ours. The Empress, which we would call Hathor when she came here, married the most perfect man we could ever think of, the true embodiment of divine masculinity, which we would call Atlas. Which he would just be a Titan here, but like he was a divine ruler, divine masculine. Like he was the embodiment, everything you'd want in a ruler to be. He was the first of he was the source code for the new line, the next turn. And instead of like accepting their time and we're the high priestess's council, they're like, you will be banished, leave, or we will kill him. And so the Empress of fucking Heaven, Hathor, that's why there's 7 fucking cobras on Hathor's crown, because she's queen of the 7 heavens. Seventh gate of fucking, the 7th gate, right, is literally when you have to like collect into the Godhead and enter into like where angels and gods go. That is literally when that's 7th dimensional, like 7th heaven. She's queen of heaven. She came here and she was like, fuck you guys. And like, instead of starting a war, we'll just come here and wait for it to, we will wait for it to end itself, because they were just and right rulers and knew that they had time was on their side. Lo and behold, Nibiru happens too, right? Because again, their royal bloodline was of her sister, like Nigercell. Like the first ruler of Nibiru queen was Palladian descent. Like Enki's was half Palladian, which is why he's amphibious. But again, no surprise they were coming here, because they were like trying to get away from, them. Because I don't know about you, I have a bunch of sisters. Women hold grudges. Like, if women ruled the world, they're like, I'll tell you, it'd be worse. It'd be worse. Look at Hillary Clinton. When women become corrupt in the wielding of masculine power and energy, it's worse than when a man's tyrannical. It's way worse. Like, look at like some of the women serial killers and like leaders, like they're way more cruel, vindictive, like men will be cruel, but it's because that they get off on it. Women get off on it in a way different way. Like it's way more like nefarious. And why am I getting to this? Because this is the cycle of like, again, it's not just we see generational trauma, like your family and this or that. Like, this is one of our generational traumas that we're trying to fucking break, man. As a fucking planet and a society. Like right now we'll see all these things, especially as we're coming into the Aquarius and the Age of Air. We see all this now, like, the goddess must rise, women must be healed and free, fight the patriarchy. Like the corrupt church of the divine man is like, did you know that there's actually less divine masculine on this planet than our divine feminine? And we were your brothers, we're your fathers, your uncles, your cousins. We were some of your closest friends, never your partner. Because for few of us were left, we had to protect you, save you from the clutches of them, the fallen divine brotherhood. Like, because in their corruption, they literally tortured and fucking drink your power. Most men of magic is not wielding their own. Because when you drink to be a person who takes what is not his and corrupts it, that corruption creates a power that is greater than usually than most people who are of divine of masculine and feminine energy. It's this corruption that like burns everything out, so they got to keep drinking. They're gonna need more, right? But eventually, the seven sisters, the old crones who didn't want to give their throne, were chased out of their empire because the people wanted divine rule. And so where did they come? Well, they came to Earth. And lo and behold, they teamed up with their fucking enemy. So the Dark Brotherhood and the Dark Sisterhood teamed up. They're like, we'll eat the boys, we'll get the girls. And this is literally how they've been fucking running this show for a long time. So it's not a patriarchy. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the lodges. You want to like York Lodge, they're more men centric, and then you've got the ones with the Daughters of the Eastern Star, man, it's a fucking con. Like, fight the patriarchy, we must fight them, feminism be ended. It's a fucking thing, man. And they just fucking harvest us and they fucking drink us. But they keep less men on this planet because men are powerful. And men wield the pink ray of love, man. We protect because we love. Not because, the father protects his children because he loves them. He protects his partner because he loves them. He protects his community because he loves them. His actions should be based out of love. That is the way of the Father. The Divine Father, anyways, right? This is all coming to a certain particular point that it's taking the long way there, I guess. But it's like, anyways, we see all these like divine feminine types who came into this in this ascension cycle, because again, they were high level priestesses, but again, they were of the old Palladian school of like femininity is most high. It's like there's no one fucking higher than anyone else. Everything has its season and time. Those rules were reversed, or did you forget? That's what got us in this fucking position to begin with. But they've forgotten because they're like, oh, we've suffered. Everyone has fucking suffered, bitch. Stop putting yourself and your sisters above everyone else. The children, the animals. You're like one of those people who like, oh, what about the pollution? You're like, what about the starving children? I don't care about that. It's not where my focus is. How dare you point that out? You know what I mean? Like, you're this like divine channeler and fucking healer, but you're too busy like only focusing on on yourselves and patting each other on the back, and you are healers and you are powerful, but you're missing the point that we're coming into an ascension cycle that is to literally break all fucking cycles that have happened before. That's why the creator opened the 1111 Stargate, literally like fixed time, like fixed it. Like, I don't know how to explain this to you people. Like, the creative forces of the universe, the creative architects of like the universe, and like manage like gravity and stargates and shit like that in its creation, multidimensionally fixed one of the aspects of our dimensional time gate, like where this whole big war was happening between like the draconian, like a big old war was stopped and it enclosed because if it was gonna destroy everything. Like one of the last great galactic time wars, man, when gods go to war, fuck, like I can't even, I don't think your imagination, most people's imaginations even cover it. Doctor Who, when the Time Lord, they actually go to that part where the Time Lords and the Daleks are fighting and everything's time locked. That's probably the closest in cinema that we can get to it, because it was literally going to tear all of creation apart. And they fucking fixed that. Freed the royal house of Lyra. And if the royal, some of the more powerful royal Draconians would ever like get out of their blood rage, they could free themselves too. But that's one of the things. Compassion is related to healing. First and foremost, if you're not compassionate to those you think are less than you, then you're not a real healer. Or you're not actually doing any real healing of any surface, of any significance. You can argue with me if you like, but at this point, like, sorry, like, I'm sorry. Compassion leads to healing of self and others, because you have to be compassionate. You must be caring. You must be loving, and not for any reward or price or this or that, because it's the fucking right thing to do. So I asked this my divine feminine sisters, especially those who are of older lineage. Look, take a good look at yourself. I'm not trying to be rude or nothing. Like, I'm not like trying to point you out. You're like, how dare you? You're like, I'm just trying to like say, hey, like the divine masculine one deserves your respect, and we're equal to you in every way. We love you, we care about you. We've literally like those who have been here the longest have done lots for your protection during the age of man rule, where we were hunted and we made space. It was the best that we could do. It was all we could do. You thought it was bad? Like, imagine like trying to keep you guys safe as best as we could. Like, it was crap for everybody. Like, but ladies, you have the sword. The blade is yours. Michael, the archangel, has the blade, and every divine masculine, for the most part, has got a fucking staff. We are wisdom keepers. We are defensive. We are not offensive. We're now gonna take the place of the high priestess. You are now the magician. You are now the soldier. You are the warriors. And we are your healers. That's the crux, the flip. That's the flip. Welcome to the age where feminine rules. Like, do you want to fight the natural order of the divine order of how this was created? Like, like in air, birds, men are the pretty ones, the peacocks, and like we have to preen, and like, and women are like, very plain and this and that, and like, but generally the more ancient of the bigger birds, like, we are the keepers of the wisdom, like we, yeah, man. So you look at the high priestess, it's the two pillars, And the middle one, oh, she's the 3-in-1. Oh, well, now you might have the womb, but it's the Y that is now the psi. The phi male and the psi male, right? You have the X, but like generally now that you will not be able to self-replicate like you were be able to before. You can have the divine, you can be equal in energy, that divine masculine energy within you. So but you can't use it to impregnate yourself. Like that has been allowed to happen up until now. You need us. And you should want us. I know some, I'm just saying, don't fall into the traps of our history. Rise above it, heal, move into a new time. It's beautiful. Even the gods, even Mother, Father, Creator, Source have not seen this timeline that we're about to enter into. It is a new time for everyone. Infinite time is gonna fucking change. All time, everywhere there's ever been, that ever will be, will change. Literally a new time. A fucking new timeline. Like, I think, like, fucking literally a new timeline. For all of creation. So, let's go. Thanks. What's up?